Hi guys, welcome back to Equipment Guide Part 2. In the previous video, I talked about the gearing system. In this video, I'll go through all about accessories and ability stones. Let's get started. Press P and open the character window. In Lost Ark, you can equip 5 accessories. There are 3 types of accessories: necklace, earrings, and rings. Same as the gearing system, accessories also have item tier 1 to 3, and item grade from rare to relic. Most of the time, you'll get accessories from drops in dungeons and raids. You can equip 1 necklace, 2 earrings, and 2 rings at the same time. But be aware, you cannot equip 2 accessories with the same name. Both earring and rings must have different item names. These accessories have randomized stats, which increase character-based stats, combat stats, and engraving points. Let's see what these stats really mean to you, and what engravings are. Base stats increase your max HP and attack. These stats depends on item tier and quality, but mostly depends on item tier. For this reason, you don't need to worry about buying any accessories in earlier games because you don't want to waste your gold and pen on accessories that gives you low HP and attack stats. You will need to replace these accessories anyways pretty soon. The time you need to consider full sets of good accessories is from tier 3. Combat stats. There are critical, specialization, domination, swiftness, endurance, and expertise. Critical, specialization, and swiftness directly affect your DPS and effectiveness of your class skills. You will choose 1 or 2 stats from these 3 stats and focus on building your accessories. What you need to know is domination, endurance, and expertise are not used in any class. You can only equip a limited number of accessories, so it is better to focus on stats which affect your DPS. The item grade and quality affects how much combat stats you gain from these accessories, and out of the 2, the quality more greatly impacts those combat stats. Engraving points. Accessories have randomized engraving points from 1 to 5. Every 5 points, you will unlock a specific engraving level, and these engraving levels stack to 3 levels, with a total of 15 engraving points. Engraving is a very complex Lost Ark system, so let's talk about this more in detail. There are 3 different types of engravings in Lost Ark: normal, class, negative. All classes can use normal engravings, but class engravings can be only used by certain classes. You can stack normal engraving points from accessories, engraving books, and ability stone. You can stack class engraving points only from accessories and engraving books. Negative engravings are something you want to avoid. It is penalty system which gives you debuffs. Just like normal and class engravings, you can also stack these points from accessories and ability stones. Points you get from accessories are like this. On rare accessories, you can get a maximum of 1 points for a single engraving. On epic grades, you can have 2 engravings each with max points of 2. On legendary grades, it's also 2 engravings with max points of 3 on each. And on relic grades, it is also 2 engravings, but with max 5 points on one of them and 3 on the other. Let's start taking a look at your current engraving points. Press P and the 3rd tab from the window is your engraving points. Once you reach level 3 of an engraving, the color changes to yellow, otherwise it is blue. Having a look at these engraving points, I have 3 points of this particular engraving, but this means nothing unless I stack at least 5 points. The level tier will unlock every 5 points. Same for the negative engravings. They are in a red color, and this won't be enabled until you stack up to 5. If you can't avoid stacking up to level 5 for some reason, you can stack up to 0.9. Then you will still stay on level 1 and avoid other negative engravings being enabled. Press Alt-I and you will see these engraving collections. This is shared across all characters on your account. So I would recommend you to start with the most commonly used engravings if you are planning to invest in this. You can select 2 effects at the same time on your character, and you can increase these effect points by using Engraving Books. To unlock these engravings, you must use 20 Engraving Books. You need to start with using 20 normal books and work your way up the tier ladder all the way to 20 legendary books. Using all necessary normal books give you 3 points, rare 6 points, epic 9 points, and legendary 12 points. The second tab shows all class engravings for your characters. Accessories with class engraving points are very rare and expensive, so players normally equip 2 epic class engravings. That way, you can enable level 3 of that class's engravings. Ability Stones. If cut perfectly, ability stones can give you a maximum of 10 points. If you are using relic grade stone, which is currently the highest grade ability stone you can get, but reaching 10 points is near impossible. Different from other equipment, you must cut the stone before you equip these stones. Each stone has randomized engravings, and you can cut this stone to enable points from the ability stone cutting NPC. The success rate of each engraving starts from 75% and drop by 10% for every successful attempt, and gain 10% of every failed attempt. You will aim to succeed on normal engravings in blue and fail on negative engraving in red. If you succeed more than certain times in total, you will gain extra HP stats as a bonus, and bonus stats vary depending on the stone grades. It is actually quite hard to enable maximum points. You would aim to reach 7 points each for normal engravings and less than 5 points in negative engraving for endgame builds. Remember, you can't get class engravings with ability stones. Class engravings can be stacked with accessories and books only. Now I will give you some idea what levels of engravings you will aim for each grade. Keep in mind that this only applies to tier 3 items. I don't recommend you spend any gold and pen stacking engravings in tier 1 or 2. For epic grade, you would aim for 1 engraving to reach level 3. So this has to be the most effective engraving for your class. Most of the time for DPS classes, you should go for Grudge. Alternately, if you can, stack level 3 and level 1 of some other valid engraving. Legendary grade would aim for 3 engravings up to level 3, and 1 more engraving with level 1. Relic grade, which is the endgame build at the moment on the NA server, you would aim for at least 4 engravings with level 3. Or if you have the gold, 5 level 3s, or 4 level 3s with 1 level 2 and 1 level 1. Since this guide focuses on items to keep or dismantle, I'll give you a rough idea of which engravings are most popular and valuable. This tier list is purely made based on popularity. FYI, the popularity is based on which engravings are generally used the most amongst all of the different classes. In tier 0, we have Grudge. If you are a DPS class, this is the most important engravings because at level 3, it lets you inflict 20% increased damage against boss. But be aware that you also receive 20% increased damage against boss. At all engraving levels, the increased damage you receive is fixed at 20%, whereas the additional damage inflicted at level 1 and 2 is only 4% and 10%. So you want to make sure that Grudge is at level 3 if you want to use it. Out of all engravings in the game, Grudge is the most expensive one. The below tier 1 engravings are also quite expensive and work well with Grudge. In tier 2, there is Awakening. This one is especially important if you are a support class. It allows you to use your Awakening ability more often and help charge your identity bar quicker. Tier 3 and Tier 4 engravings are quite niche and are only good for certain classes. All other engravings are not shown here in Tier 5 and are barely ever used as they are highly ineffective. Like Grudge, some DPS engravings have debuff effects, so you should be aware as debuffs can outweigh debuffs if you're used at level lower than 3. For example, Keen Blunt Weapon increases your critical damage and decreased damage of non-critical strikes by 20%. The buff rate is fixed, but the damage bonus from level 1 to 3 is 10%, 25% and 50%. This one must be used at level 3 with high critical stats to make it effective. Do not use these engravings at level 1 or 2. On the other hand, these normal engravings are efficient even at level 1 and 2, as they have no debuff effects and somewhat helps in raids. There are 4 different negative engravings in Lost Ark. The debuffs you want to avoid in the order of importance are damage reductions, armor, attack speed, and move speed. If you plan in advance before you upgrade accessories, you can avoid having these enabled. Conclusion: Accessories. Dismantle combat stats with domination, endurance, and expertise because they are never used. Dismantle accessories with 2 low-tier engraving points. Dismantle very low quality of accessories. Ability Stone. Stone with tier 0, 1, and 2 engravings is valuable. Dismantle all ability stones with low tier engravings. Avoid negative engraving with damage reduction. This is the end of the equipment guides. Now you know everything about Lost Ark equipment. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.